Samsung, Google, Motorola, they're all on their third, fourth, or even sixth generation of folding phones. But in the middle of all this mechanical innovation, the tech world's biggest player has left a massive, glaring empty space. For years, the only evidence we had that Apple was even considering a foldable came from technical patent filings and a sea of fan-made digital renders. Then, without warning, highly detailed physical dummy models of a rumored iPhone Ultra landing directly in the hands of major tech reviewers. These models feature polished, weighted hardware and realistic camera modules that match the current generation's premium finish. This high level of detail forces a difficult question. Are these startlingly thin mock-ups an accurate preview of the real iPhone Fold, or are they elaborate fakes riddled with physical impossibilities? To find out, we have to put this supposed iPhone Ultra on trial.
We're going to grade its physical claims one by one, separating actual Apple engineering reality from the rumor mill fiction. The investigation starts with the shape. Instead of a tall, skinny rectangle, this leak features a wider, stubbier, passport-style aspect ratio when folded. This diagram shows a standard, narrow foldable aspect ratio, overlapping with the wider proportions of the leaked model. Most modern folding phones use a narrow design that makes two-thumb typing feel cramped. This leak pushes a much wider blueprint. Opening up a wider outer shell results in a squarish inner canvas. This design suggests a focus on a functional tablet experience rather than a screen that simply feels like a stretched-out smartphone. There is actually a strong historical precedent for this wider footprint, reaching back to the early pioneers of dual-screen hardware. This image of the Microsoft Surface Duo highlights the closest tech ancestor to this dimension. It proves this notebook-style footprint is a well-tested functional concept. Because it directly addresses the cramped usability of current foldables by returning to a proven design, this passport aspect ratio stands as a highly credible leak. Perhaps the most staggering claim made by these physical leaks lies in the chassis thickness. When laid completely flat, the unfolded model comes in at an astonishing 4.72 millimeters thick. For context, Apple's rumored iPhone Air targets a 5 millimeter range. This foldable essentially matches Apple's most extreme conceptual designs for thinness. This schematic demonstrates sandwich mode. Unfolded thickness doubles when closed. Doubling 4.72 millimeters results in a 9.18 millimeter folded thickness. Compared to a standard iPhone 16 Pro at 8.8 millimeters, it's barely thicker than the phone in your pocket. Successfully engineering a sub-5 millimeter chassis would allow Apple to eliminate the single biggest complaint against the entire category, excessive pocket bulk. While the outer dimensions appear well engineered, the credibility of this leak hits a wall the second we look at the camera hardware. The first major anomaly is the front-facing camera array, which is shoved awkwardly into the top right corner of the inner display. Apple has spent years centering its design language around the top middle of the screen, building features like the dynamic island around that central axis. An off-center corner placement ignores a decade of Apple's UI consistency. This image shows the significant depth of a modern rear camera bulge. Translating that thickness to the foldable dummy reveals a major engineering conflict. This side profile X-ray reveals a spatial paradox. A bulky rear camera sensor is directly opposite an internal screen and front-facing lens. They cannot occupy the exact same 4.7 millimeter space back-to-back. There isn't enough depth to wedge these modules together. The outer dimensions might be perfectly calculated, but these internal layout choices suggest this prototype is a flawed mock-up rather than a final production blueprint. To find the truth, we have to separate the messy micro-details of this dummy model from the macro-level design philosophy it represents. The weird corner cameras and impossible lens stacking are likely the artifacts of early-stage third-party prototyping. The obsession with sub-5 millimeter thinness and the wider aspect ratio provides the clearest evidence of Apple's actual market strategy. This specific footprint moves beyond hardware novelty, serving as the bridge to truly merge two distinct device ecosystems. This photo comparing various iPads highlights how the unfolded model mimics the iPad mini's footprint. It aims for a familiar, optimized tablet interface rather than a distorted phone UI. When Apple finally releases its first foldable, it will be a calculated move to merge these software worlds, putting a true iPad experience comfortably into an average pocket.